marbles. So number 1, we're going to draw the rectangle and go ahead and put the diagonals in it. So same rectangle. And while you're at it, just go ahead and put the diagonals. This may, I don't know if y'all do this, Honors has kind of started doing it. As we get into more involved pictures, you may want to print this lesson instead of just looking at your computer, because you may want to write on the pictures. You're going to especially see it on these today. I like to print it, and if you're having trouble with it and you come ask me about it, I'm just going to say, go print it if you haven't printed it. You can write on the picture and then put the answers on the slips. So Lauren Day has done that every time I've ever had her at her all the geometry and algebra 2, and then she keeps the work, she keeps that sheet until she gets her slips checked, and then she just drops it in the recycle box. So she's always done that. And this is point T. Okay, they're going to give you, I'm sorry, the center point is T. Okay. They're going to give you, it takes me a minute to look and see what they're giving you. Let's see, they're going to put 15 up here. Now that's units, that's the length of that. And then we're going to let SP be 10. And I think that's all they give me. And I'll go ahead and put the right angles in it too. Well, this is not segments, so it really doesn't matter, but I'll put them in there anyway. They want to know QR. They want to know SR. They want to know SQ. And they want to know ST. Now the one, it's really weird. The one we did in honors this morning was actually a little bit easier than this one. And I don't know if I probably should have done a harder example with them, but if you need another one, you could go to their YouTube. It would say lesson, I don't know, it's not lesson 37, I'm not sure, but I could get you the number if you wanted to look at a different example. Okay, here's the problem. It's really easy to tell me what QR is. I think you know that even from elementary school. What's the length of QR going to be? 10. And what about SR? 15. Now here's where we run into trouble, because we need to know SQ, which will also be PR, and then they're going to ask us one of these little pieces. So the problem in this case is that you've got to know where to go from here, and it's been a long time since we've done this, so I want you to take your pencil, and I want you, they're wanting us to do SQ, so we're going to make this triangle right here darker. We could have got colored pencils. I just didn't think about it till it was too late. So just make a triangle. Y'all said this was 15 and this was 10. Okay, all of you are going to be taking the ACT in April here, and it is tough. It's some geometry, lots of algebra, algebra 2. So it's going to be a lot of things you won't know how to do, but this is one thing you definitely should know how to do, and it's called the Pythagorean theorem. I've done it in a long time. When you have a right triangle, do you see it right here? Okay. We can even redraw it if we need to. You've got it like this. You know this is 15. You know this is 10, and I'm going to let this be my hypotenuse. That's my x. And the Pythagorean theorem says leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. Now, the one I did in honors this morning came out even. The one here is not going to, which makes me think you've got one in your classwork that's not going to come out even. So we're going to need the calculator. I'll pull mine out if you don't have yours with you, but we'll do the arithmetic. But I want you to see you are going to have to do a little bit of rounding. Okay, 15 and 10 are the legs. So you've got leg squared plus leg squared equals x squared. And very rarely would you be doing anything but the hypotenuse. So it's usually going to give you the leg, and you have to do the hypotenuse. So 225 plus 100 equals x squared. Now, it's going to get a little heavy here, so stay with me. Now, I like to switch sides. I'm going to put x squared equals, and those together add up to 325. Now, we're going to take a time out. I'm going to go to scratch paper, and I want to ask you a question. What if I give you a problem? Everybody got that copied? See, I don't know that we've done this. Probably did it in Algebra 2, but with COVID spring last year, who knows? But if I said to you, x squared equals 25, do you know what x is? You don't know what squared is 25? 5, because 5 squared is 25, so x is 5. And what you're actually doing is you're taking the square root of both sides. You know, like if I have x plus 2 equals 7, and you say minus 2, you're doing this, you do the same thing to both sides, we do the same thing to both sides. Now, I have to say this, because in Algebra 2, there's actually two answers. Because negative 5 times negative 5 is also 25, but because we're talking about segments and lengths, you don't ever measure something with negatives. So right now, we're just talking about the positive. But in Algebra 2, we're doing it right now, you actually have to consider the second one. So if you had x squared equals 36, x would be 6. Now, if I give you x squared is equal to 10, the problem is 10's not a perfect square. But I could take my calculator and I could do, and I'll try to, I don't want to have to move the card, so I'm going to kind of hold it like this. And do, I think you do square root, it's on the blue, I think. Second square root. Okay, oop, that's not it. Got to find it first. There it is. Second, gets in the shadows. There it is. Square root. And I put 10. And I put enter. And if I'm rounding it, it would be about 3.2. Usually we round to 10. See it? 3.16. Okay, that's what's fixing to happen in this one. And we say x is approximately 3.2. Okay, here's the problem. Because when I do this, if I punch 325 in my calculator, it is not a perfect square. You know, if I give you 25, if I give you 36, if I give it 121, they're perfect. This one is not. So what you have to do is square root, and I have to see that key again because it gets in the shadows and I can't see that little key. Square root of, except I just hit something I didn't want to. Let me arrow back. Delete. Okay. What did we say? 325? You see it? Enter. And we get, it looks like 18.027 ... If you round to tenths, it's approximately 18 or 18.0. You do put the 0 there. So x is about 18. Now, if it's a perfect square, you get a perfect answer. If it says x squared equals 625, when you type it in your calculator, it's exactly 25. See, I'm afraid they're going to have this on honors, and I didn't give them one like this. So we're going to go back up here where x is about 18. That means that from S to Q, we're going to put 18.0. That shows we rounded it. So if from here to here is 18.0, what would it be just from S to T? About 9.0. See, you would divide by 2. Divided by 2. Thought I heard a phone. Oh, and I never did check to see if Sydney was going to Zoom with us. Oh, well. I did what I did to Laney the other day. I just forget to check. And I get about 9.0. So you'll either have them come out even or you'll have to round it like